What up guys, here it's your boy Ash. I'm coming to you guys today with my review of One Piece manga chapter 991. I just finished recording my live reaction to the chapter in Kiado. God, this chapter was super fun to read. I had a blast. A lot of action in this chapter, a lot of things going on here, people aligning, other characters kind of showing up. So I just wanted to talk through this chapter real quick, kind of go over the hard-hitting points. So we pick up this chapter off where we left off, chapter 990, with Drake asking Luffy to join the alliance because Drake had nowhere else to go because he was outed as a spy for the Navy. And they don't know he was part of the Navy, but they know he was spying for someone because he released law. So he was outed, and he and Luffy both took out one of the numbers. So that's where we pick off. And people in the dome are starting to notice, hey, that was Drake who took out one of the numbers. What's going on? So Hyogoro and one of the other Yakuza bosses noticed it and said, well, that must be one of the leaders. In page 1 and Ulti also noticed and be like, hey, Drake, what are you doing? And this kind of leads us into where Drake was thinking about with Kobe in the last chapter, where Kobe is like, if you ever need help, go to Luffy. And in this chapter, he says, when Luffy's a friend, he's as close to you as close can be. But if he's an enemy, he's the furthest person away. And that's very true. When I sat back and thought about it, Luffy has no sympathy for his enemies when they've wronged his friends. So if you're trying to get sympathy from Luffy, it ain't happening if you've wronged someone. But if you're an ally and you're a friend to Luffy, he'll hold you very, very dear to him, just like he did Vivi and Momo and all of them. If you're a friend of his and he truly cares about you, he's gonna keep you close and he'll do anything to help you. So that's the kind of person Luffy is. So Kobe's telling Drake that, and Drake isn't totally getting it, but I think by the end of this, Drake is gonna realize what kind of person Luffy is and his true abilities. So, Luffy's like, oh, you want to join the alliance here? And immediately Zoro steps in, which I shouldn't have been surprised because Zoro's always there to kind of play the middle ground of these situations, like with Usopp and with his, let's say, Brook and Sanji, and all these situations that, hey, you're not just going to join the crew. Zoro's kind of like the voice of reason in these sometimes. So he steps in and is like, there's no way I'm going to let you join this crew after you turned traitor at the very last second. We've been through all this stuff. You've attacked us in the Flower Capital. I'm not gonna just let you join the crew. And even Jinbei and Frank are in this. They're like, we don't like guys who turn code so fast. And even Jinbei's like, yeah, even in the pirate world, there's a code of honor. And as they're saying this stuff, and it makes sense, I agreed with everything they said, Luffy's like, yeah, you can join. And I got a kick out of that because that is so like Luffy. He doesn't really go into too much detail. Codes and stuff, pirate codes, traditions have never really meant much to Luffy. He's gonna do what he thinks is best, and as captain, he has that right. But even when he says that, they're like, no, he can't. Shut up, captain, you moron. So his crew respects Luffy at certain points, but at other points, they're like, dude, you're being an idiot. Why would you let him on? He's obviously not trustworthy. So there's a back and forth dynamic throughout this chapter of that here. And eventually we get to a point where Drake is allowed to join the alliance, and we'll get to that. But as we start to build through it, Drake is like, okay, I should have known that they probably wouldn't have let me on so easily. And then this is where page 1 and Ulti step in and like, hey, you're not getting any closer to Kiado. So they start to making their beelining towards Straw Hat Luffy. And they notice like, hey, all these guys are listening to Straw Hat. He must be the boss of all these pirates. So Luffy is pretty much the head of this raid. So when this is all said and done, he's probably going to get the bulk of the credit and a huge bounty jump again. So just like kind of how it happened in Whole Cake Island. Even though the whole plan wasn't his idea, he's deemed the leader because he's doing all the brunt work and everybody's kind of going to Luffy for the help. So very cool. It's good to see Luffy in that role. And he's probably going to do a lot of the work in this chapter, so in this arc. So unlike Whole Cake Island, he's probably going to take out the leader of this pirate crew. So really cool. So they start to make a beeline towards Luffy and them, and Luffy's like, oh god, not these guys again. And even Sanji's like, hey, it's that dinosaur guy, but who's the cutie? So he notices Ulti, but as they start charging towards and messing up the samurai, page 1 gets hit with Usopp's green star, the exploding skull, which is Skull Blast Grass. So that's what it was, Skull Blast Grass, which is really cool to see. So Usopp steps in, and Ulti is like, page 1, what happened? And she turns and sees Nami standing there. It's like, I'm Nami. and you will not get any closer to Straw Hat Luffy, and talking a whole bunch of shit. And then Nami turns around and hits Usopp, who's hiding behind her and masking her voice. So that was a really funny scene. But even though Usopp was the one talking for her, Nami turns around and says, "Come on, do your worst." But as she says that, she starts running away, and Usopp's like, "Your words don't match your actions." So very funny scene. But this sets up a fight. My dryer went off. Sets up a fight between Nami and Ulti and Usopp and Page One, which I think would be great matchups for those two. I would love to see them. And if they're fighting Toby Roppo, who are well known to be strong opponents, that would be perfect for Usopp and Nami. And I think Ulti and Page One are the weakest of the Toby Roppo, so it makes sense that part of the two of the weakling trio would step in to fight these guys. I think it's a good matchup, and it kind of helps show their prowess and see where they've grown. So the Toby Roppo are no one to be laughed at. I mean, they gave Luffy quite the fight. Even though Luffy kind of handled his business, I mean, they're tough and they have hockey. So that would be a great fight. I hope that this is the matchup set for this arc. Page One and Usopp, Ulti, and Nami. So really cool to see them step in, and they're going right after those two. So, and Sanji gives Usopp the job of protecting Nami, so very nice. And as this is going on, as they start to kind of leave this situation, we see Scratchman Apoo show up, and Luffy's like, "Hey, Sanji, cover your ears," and he does his slash attack, and he's like, "Oh, you guys figured out my trick here," but fighting without sound is quite difficult, and I think that'll come into play a little later with whoever Scratchman Apoo initially fights, or at the end of fights. So he starts to talk down to the numbers who have been defeated. He's like, "How are you guys going to defeat it? You've gone to countless towns, all 10 of you, and destroyed these towns. You guys aren't allowed to get beat up drunk at a party. That's just not how it's going to be." And he calls in Hacha, who comes in and picks up one of the other numbers above his head, and it looks like he's about to throw him. I don't know if Hacha is bigger than the other numbers. He doesn't look like he's too much bigger, but his brute strength is crazy for him to pick up another one of these guys. So that's crazy. So it looks like Scratchman Apoo is like calling the numbers in. That's his role, and he's the informant. So we get a Scratchman Apoo, not Kaido, but the Beast Pirates box. He's the Animal Kingdom Pirates informant. And his bounty is 350 million. I don't know if we knew that before, but he has a 350 million berry bounty, which is respectable. But obviously Kid, Law, I'm pretty sure Drake and Luffy all below him out of the water. So it makes sense. He's probably one of the weaker of the worst generation, and he's the most annoying by so much. I don't think I've ever really liked Scratchman Apoo. I've always just liked seeing him get his butt kicked. So as he calls in one of the numbers, they're going in, and Luffy's like, "I'll take care of this, guys. Don't worry." And Sanji's like, "No, you have bigger things to do. You leave. We'll take care of this." And as he says that, Hacha notices the General Frankie, and you see a little heart pop up above his head, and his eyes start gleaming, and it looks like he's really entranced with the General Frankie. And Jinbei notices, and Jinbei's like, "Frankie, get out of here, get out of the dome, because if this guy rampages anymore, this whole place is gonna collapse." So Frankie starts to run away. He's like, "If you think this is a toy, you've got another thing coming." And Hacha just is like tumbling after him. So Frankie leaves, and he takes Hacha with him, so that gets rid of one of the numbers. But obviously we have more numbers hanging around, and Scratchman Apoo ran off to try to get one. But as he does that, the fight between Drake and Zoro commences, and like, look, Drake's trying to like plead to Zoro, like, "Hey, we have the same goal here. If I win, you guys also win. I'm trying to take down Kaido too." And Zoro's like, "You seem trustworthy, but you have an agenda. There's something you're hiding." And Zoro's observation, I don't want to say it's observation hockey, but his observation skills are very good. And this goes back to like Whiskey Peak, where he noticed that something was up, and that all those assassins were there for a different reason. Even though the other crew didn't notice, Nami did, but the other crew didn't notice. Zoro was the one who kind of was like, something's up here. So he's always been keen on stuff like that. Yeah, he has no sense of direction, but Zoro is no fool. So that was cool, and he obviously knows something's up with Drake, and we all do as well. Drake is part of the Marines, so that was cool to see Zoro be like, something's up, but fine, I'll trust you. And as Apoo's like, "I'm gonna go get more numbers," they're like, "Don't make things worse," and they both swipe at Apoo, trying to cut him, and he kind of flips out of it, which was impressive. But they both, this is where the alliance gets cemented. They're like, man, I really hate that guy. I want to beat him up, but I'm not doing it for you. And Zoro's like, yeah, me too. Let's team up. And Apoo's in the corner like, what? That's all it took? So it looks like Drake and Zoro are about to go in on Apoo, and all of a sudden you see bullets rain down on them. And we don't know what kind of bullets they are, but they look very big, and they may have something in them. You see, we transition to Queen holding this giant Gatling gun, and he's like, do you think you're just gonna waltz out of here, Drake? Or should I say, you spy? So Queen isn't messing around. He is intending to kill Drake right here and now. And even though the bullets didn't hit Drake, it hit a couple of the samurai, and like, you're gonna be okay. And Drake's like, do you think you could kill me with just those bullets? And then he thinks about it. He's like, wait, those bullets, unless these bullets are, and that's all we get. So we know that Queen delves into poisons and is great at torturing. So he's probably laced these bullets with something, some kind of poison, which may, even if it scratched Drake, may be the downfall, or maybe the reason he's killed if they don't find an antidote. And it could be up to Chopper to save him. And if he didn't get hit, they're in just a dome, and Queen is above, and he can just lay the wood down from here. So they're in a bad position with Queen having a Gatling gun and them being in a tight spot. So we'll see. Hopefully we get to come back to that in chapter 992. But this transitions to the end of this chapter, guys. We go back to the top of the Skull Dome, and we see Jack getting absolutely destroyed. We cut to a scene where him getting knocked over. One of his horns is shattered and broken, so one of his tusks get broken, and he lands on the ground. And we see Kiado step in front of him in full dragon form and says, that's enough. I handpicked Drake as one of my lead performers. I will not let this take anymore. I will not let you hurt him anywhere else. And he's like, Drake or Jack, do not be sorry for this. It is not a sign of weakness. They are just that strong. So this was a very interesting scene. We always seemed Kiado as like whoever's the strongest is gonna be my lead performer. It's go big or go home. It's survival of the fittest. That's the animal kingdom. He didn't seem like he had sympathies for his crew members all that much. And maybe he does just for the lead performers and that's it. But the way the crew's dynamic was, like, anyone could challenge a lead performer and then they'd be the new lead performer. And that was that. And even Kiado agreed to that as well. So it didn't look like he had that much sympathy for it. Or he just had that much confidence in his lead performance that the Toby Robo wouldn't be able to do anything. But I was not expecting this from Kiado, to have so much sympathy and care for Jack. So that puts a lot into Kaido's character that I didn't see coming before, which is really unique to see. And I'm glad that Oda brought that up here. So that was really unique to see that as part of Kaido's, I don't know why she's barking at me, Kaido's character development. So that was really cool to see. But when he says that they're just that strong, we get the full scope of Nekomamushi and Inuarashi in full Sulong form, and man oh man, the wait was so worth it. They look amazing. I love Nekomamushi. He looks like this crazed lion cat here with his giant claws and his hair is just flowing in the wind. And Inuarashi looks like such a badass, like mythical fox. He looks like the nine-tailed fox from Naruto. He looks so mythical. He's got these crazy whiskers going on. He's got some horns, and they look so strong. And they baby shaked, as King of Lightning would say, baby shaked Jack. Jack didn't even stand a chance. As soon as these guys went Sulong, they messed him up, and you see scars and scratches all over Jack's face. He didn't stand the chance. If they would have been able to go Sulong when Jack first attacked the elephant, they would have handled business so easily. And they put a fight up even then. So I can imagine that in this fight, and I hope the anime kind of prolongs this, we get to see the fight. They handled business real easily. So cool to see them. They look absolutely amazing. I'm glad that Oda really showed their full scope and how big they are. Oh my God, such a cool scene. This is probably gonna be the cover of this video, so you guys will see that coming. But it looks like both sides kind of did a lot of damage to each other. You see all the beast pirates kind of laid out, and you see a lot of the Sulongs coming out of their Sulong form. So the minks are as well got pretty beat up, and my puppy is in the corner tearing the stuffing out of his toy. Hey, stop doing that. Just noticed all the stuffing in the corner. But So finally, we see Kinemon grab his sword, and we get all of the fodder out of the way. All the minks, not that they're fodder, but all the minks and all the beast fights are out of the way. So finally, we're getting down to nitty gritty. It's going to be Kiado against the Scabbards. And first off, Kiado uses Blast Breath as his first attack, and Kinemon steps up and uses Foxfire style Flame Rend, and cuts the Borobreath in half. If I'm seeing this right, cuts it in half and slices Kaido's top, bottom mouth, and his nose a little bit here. So Kinemon gets the first cut on Kiado probably since oh God, what is his name? Odin. God, I was having such a brain fart. Since Odin. And I don't know if he uses his Ryo here. It doesn't seem like it, if that's just his attack. But we do see his arm go black in that. So it might be his Ryo. And he cuts Kiado. And now Kaido's a little nervous. You see at the end, the black lines go over Kaido's mouth, and he's got all these exclamation points. He's nervous, and the Scabbards are like, don't take us as fools. We're not going to run away. Just let us die as Odin's Scabbards once we've taken your head, that is. So that's where the chapter ends. Oh my gosh. I am so excited for this fight, guys, here. I think it's going to be a really badass fight. Now, who's going to win that fight? Comment below with your guys' thoughts. Who wins between the Scabbards and Kiado? I already have one in my head. I'll make a video about it sometime this week of my prediction of who would win a fight between the Kiado and the Scabbards. So look forward to that, guys. But comment below with your thoughts. Who do you think would win between the Scabbards and Kiado if the Scabbards all know how to use Ryo and they have Nekomamushi and Inuarashi in full Sulong form, and it doesn't look like they've been hurt at all. So it didn't look like Jack put up much of a fight at all. So that's where the chapter ends. There is no break next week. We get it October 4th here. So the first chapter of October coming right away. I cannot wait, guys. What a fun chapter. Comment below with your favorite part of chapter 991 here, guys, and your expectations for 992. Hopefully, there's a lot of things I want to see. I want to see what happens with Drake, Zoro, and Queen, and what the fight between the Scabbards and Kiado is going to look like. So I cannot wait for the next chapter, guys, here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll be back again tomorrow with my reviews of My Hero Academia. So look forward to that, guys. Hope you enjoyed. That's it for me today, guys. Peace. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy your Sunday. Wow, words are hard.